Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of You Gotta Hear This. I am joined, as always, by Mike Monzita.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Greg Urquhart,
Cheers.
woodworker extraordinaire,
Yes.
and Joe Boynton, new homeowner.
Hello. From my home.
Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you. Very excited.
Tell everyone your address.
225.
I'll put the Zillow link on the bottom of this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Please.
You can see what his property taxes are.
This
Mike, what are you drinking?
is just a glass of wine. I
Okay.
enjoy the finer things in life.
I'm
Mhm.
drinking in an old fashioned.
Oh,
Oh,
fantastic.
you even got a little maraschino cherry in there, don't you?
Oh, I'm jealous.
Old Blanton's old fashioned. John, you've had my old fashions, and your wife has too. She said it was the best old fashioned she ever had.
There, you make a mean old fashioned. I got to give it to you.
I
I could go
appreciate
for
it.
one of those right now.
Tell me what's in an old fashioned. I'm not remembering.
I do a sugar cube, a splash
Okay.
of water, a splash of cherry bitters, a orange peel, a maraschino cherry, and some bourbon.
Okay. Nice. That sounds really good. That's a good
It's
winter.
refreshing, very, because bourbon has that bite, that little like, ooh,
Mhm.
but you add all that in, it's like you're drinking puppies or something.
Okay. Okay. That's not the analogy I would have gone, with, but I'm sure someone out there will relate.
But if you have too many, that's when it gets weird.
Oh, yeah.
Then
Well, I'm
it's
not
like
really a
you're-
big drinker, so I can't relate to the too many.
Sure,
Then it's like you're being attacked by puppies.
yes, exactly. Attacked by puppies.
It's not that bad, but it's not that good either.
It's not
Yeah.
bad. It's not great
It's
either.
not great
Yeah.
either. Oh, did everyone have a very nice Christmas?
I had a great one, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did everyone blast our holiday special Spotify playlist during your Christmas
I
celebration?
did. Yeah, I actually did. I listened to everybody's song on the holiday playlist. I listened to Greg's Prince song and I listened to the AC/DC song many times, which I legit don't think is I hope I didn't come off as portraying that as a bad song because I think Mistress for Christmas is a fantastic song.
Man, that's not a good song though. Like, I just,
Okay. So in the last sentence that you just said, you agreed and then disagreed in the subject and the predicate. Because you
I
said,
said-
yeah, it's a good song, but it's not a great song.
well, yeah, if you want to pick apart my words, sure.
Well,
But
I'm
it
a-
came out, like I texted you when it came on random when we were up in the mountains, and
What are the chances of that?
it
yeah.
was bizarre. And I'm like, oh, let's just listen to it. And you really can't even understand what he's saying.
Mhm.
All you can really hear is Mistress for Christmas. All the other crap, like I was listening for it, but I just couldn't. His voice is just not the best.
Yeah, yeah. When Joe was reading off the lyrics, I was like, "Oh gosh, I didn't know he said he wanted to grope you. He wanted to grope you in the hay? Jesus,
Mm.
Christ. I should have picked something else." I hope I don't get canceled.
Yeah. John, I don't want to bring up any sensitive information, but how is the cookie protest going?
Oh,
What is the
great
cookie protest? I don't know the
protest.
backstory behind this.
Well, I posted a video on my stories on Instagram yesterday. My children started a protest for cookies, and no joke, they made signs and they marched back and forth across the kitchen for probably 15 minutes with signs that said "We want cookies" and like hitting sticks and like tambourines and it got intense for a few minutes there. I didn't know what was going to happen, but
Were there
luckily we were able to reach a peaceful resolution.
All right, good,
Um,
good.
we made some compromises, and it all worked out in the end. They got a half of a cookie before lunch, and then when they finished their lunch, they got another half of a cookie. So I think everybody walked away happy, but it was intense there for a minute.
I have to ask, is this something that Camille suggested, or did they think of protesting on their own?
No, completely unprovoked.
That's awesome.
Don't even know where they got the idea.
The best, man.
that's a kind of an amazing thing about having kids is you find that they have a lot of ideas that you would just never really expect them to have.
I remember when I was a kid and my parents would have people come over, I guess like for a dinner party. When I was a little kid, I'm talking like 7, 8, or 9, I used to want to be a stand-up comedian. And I wrote my first joke. And so my parents would always ask me to perform for their friends when they would come over. And I wrote my first joke when I was 7 years old. And it was the funniest, it's to this day, the funniest joke I've ever written in my life. But it's a little topical. So if you weren't born in the 80s, you might not get it. So and I've told, Greg knows, I've told this on our podcast, but whenever my parents would have friends over, they would say, Mike, stand up and tell your joke. And so this was in the 80s. So I would stand up and I would do a Ronald Reagan voice, and I would kind of go like this, and I would go, I'm having trouble with arms control. And that was it. That was it. It was very topical at the time, and it used to get a good laugh. But I wrote that on my own, and I was very proud of it, which sounds to me kind of like what your kids did with their signs.
Yeah, I mean, like if my kids made an arms control joke unprovoked, I would be very impressed and I would enjoy it. I think that's, wait, how old did you say you were?
Probably 7 or 8.
Yeah, that John is 8 years old. So I think that's pretty advanced humor for an 8-year-old. So,
well, when you're 8 years old and you're watching the news and you hear the president talk about arms control, that's what you you don't know. Yeah, that's what you think you say.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
It's good though. John's on the front lines of the CLM movement.
Yeah. Cookie. What did you say? Cookie lives matter.
They do. They do.
Cookie time matters.
Cookie time matters. Oh man, I love cookie time.
Yeah, well, who doesn't? I tell you that what sparked this is these kids. Because it's Christmas time, we've got cookies all over the house, and we're letting them have them whenever they want. And then it's the day after Christmas, and it's like they ask for a cookie at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you say no, and then you got a protest on your hands all of a sudden.
I hate that I missed this video. I want to see these signs.
Man,
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I laughed really good with it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was one of those moments. Whenever you share stuff about your kids on social media, I feel like there's always a fine line of like putting stuff out there that's like a little self-indulgent or something. It's not going to be that interesting to anybody. But this is one where it's like, oh man, this is gold. This is gold. This is social media gold right here. Yeah, good times.
John, also there's a no filter sunset happening outside my window right now.
Oh man.
Wow.
You can't even get a photo of it because you're on this damn show.
You're missing out on so many likes right now.
Man.
Oh man.
Sorry.
That's cool.
You can repost a clip from this podcast later and hope it gets as many likes as the sunset.
It won't. I don't see
No,
that
probably
happening.
won't.
I don't see that happening.
You can always dream.
We could have Joe just have Amanda do it. Like, just like this post real quick, please. We need some traffic.
Our first freezing. Oh, you froze for a minute, Greg. We didn't hear what you said.
It's for the best.
You just go off on a tirade.
Yeah.
Like expletives.
It's probably because the internet. Oh man, the internet in here is really bad. Okay. Hold on. I gotta change spots.
Okay.
I love the idea of his Zoom not being.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
Oh
Okay.
man.
It was worth
at
it.
the beach now.
Yeah.
Suggested we stay topical and do an end of the year 2020 best song of the year. Oh,
Hey,
you're gonna get that sunset in there.
Oh, there
Well,
it is.
we could,
Oh,
but
man.
the see, look, no filter.
You can get, yeah, you can see some of that.
The internet in the guest room is really bad. So
Oh, okay. I think that sunset might get our average viewing time up to 17 minutes.
We need to put a teaser at the beginning, like stay around for Greg's.
Mhm.
Right. for the sunset.
Hold on, I'll take a picture now.
I'll do it now and then post it. and
Post
see
it on
what
the
happens.
Instagram later.
Yeah. So as I was saying, this week we're discussing our favorite song of 2020.
Yeah.
And now,
Genius topic.
yeah, I mean it's timely
Mhm.
and it makes sense. Mike, you requested that or suggested maybe it doesn't have to be a song that was released in 2020.
Yep.
And the one just that you discovered this year.
Exactly.
Did you suggest that because you knew that your choice would be one like that?
Yep, my choice came to prominence in 2020, but I found out recently that it's a song from 2013. So I guess I'll just go into it. I listen, long-term fans of this show will know that I have a love-hate relationship with the video game Last of Us 2. And I hate to keep bringing it up, but I really fucking hate it. And I also love it. And I just said something that triggered Alexa. Hold on. Alexa, stop. Okay, sorry. I just said something that triggered Alexa. Wait.
Your girlfriend to calm down.
Because you're
Anyway, so there's a video game that was very popular in 2020 called Last of Us, and it just won the best video game of the year for 2020. And so in the video game, there's this guy, and he is the main character of Last of Us 1, and it comes out towards the end of the game. This is a long walk, by the way, so you guys stay with me. And if you know the ending, like, don't spoil it. But so in the first version, or in the first Last of Us, it comes out towards the end that he always wanted to be a singer when he was a kid, and he obviously never got to realize that dream because a zombie apocalypse happened. And so in the second, like, and we can all relate to that.
yeah.
So in the second game,
I used to be a musician too before the zombie apocalypse that is currently happening.
I always wanted to be a pharmacist until the impending zombie apocalypse, but one day I'm going to pursue that. But anyway, so he was, so in the second game, it comes out very early in the prelude. He goes over to his daughter's house. And I know it's not really his daughter. I don't want you to email me, but for all intents and purposes, it is his daughter. And she was always asking him to sing her a song, and he would never do it. He was a really gruff Texas guy. And so at the opening of the second game, he comes over to her cabin and he knocks on the door and he's like, "Hey, I got something I want to say to you." So he pulls out his guitar and he starts singing. He's like, "If I can't do the song, I can't do the voice." He's a very talented voiceover actor and I can't do it. But this song that he starts singing is, if I ever were to lose you, I would surely lose myself. And then he does another bar, and that's it. So you just get the 2 bars. And it becomes a thread throughout the rest of Last of Us 2. So this is taking place in a zombie apocalypse. And spoiler alert, so if you've never played Last of Us 2, like, turn this off and fast forward 2 minutes or so. But so he dies, and the rest of the game is the girl going across America trying to take revenge on the people that have killed him. And so she'll, like, every now and then she'll come across like a music store or a theater, and there will be a wayward guitar, and she'll pick up the guitar and she'll be like, "If I ever was to lose you," and she plays the song that reminds her of her dad. And I know it's not really her dad, but, and so she plays across it. But then another cool, really cool element that they use to sort of get you into the character of the girl that you're playing is she has a journal. So as you're going across the country, she'll just take little notes in her journal, and you can read her journal, but you can also read back entries that she's put in her journal. And it really gets you in her mindset. And so I was reading some of her back entries, and it's not like, it's like a real girl's journal would be. So it's not like paragraph. It's like a sentence here, and then there'll be a sketch, and then there'll be a sticker, and there'll be a paragraph and a sticker and a sketch. And so just out of nowhere, with no context, one of the sentences was, "All the promises at sundown, I meant them like the rest." And when I read that, I physically, like, recoiled from the TV. I was like, that is so fucking bad and, like, horrible. Like, on the one hand, they nailed it, because that is something that a 19-year-old girl would write in a journal. But it's just, like, so, like, I was so embarrassed. Like, I really was reading a 19-year-old girl's journal. I was like, that's so fucking awful. And so then, and this was maybe June or July. So fast forward to November. So this is very recent. I was putting together a playlist, and there was a song on the Last of Us soundtrack, Last of Us 2 soundtrack, that I really did like, and I wanted to put it on my playlist. So I Googled Last of Us Last of Us 2 soundtrack, and I saw that there was a song by Pearl Jam on the Last of Us 2 soundtrack. And I said, wait a minute, there's no song from Pearl Jam on the Last of Us 2. So I hit play, and the first thing I heard was, if I ever was to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. And I paused the video, and like, as if it was an episode of The Office, like I looked to the side and I physically said, what the fuck is going on here? And I live by myself, so I can do that. And so then I hit play, and I heard the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. And so then he gets to the third verse, and he goes, all the promises at sundown meant them like the rest. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? So all this time, I thought this was a song that the video game character had written about this girl who he had adopted as his daughter, and was a through line through the game. And it turns out this whole time, this song was a real song that was written by Pearl Jam in 2013 called Future Days. And it is absolutely beautiful. And I love it. I love it. I love it. And we have a friend named we have a friend named Alan who suggested a show topic on one of our Instagram accounts about songs that never get old. And I have had this song on repeat for maybe the last 2 months now. And it gets better and better and better and better every time I see it. So my solid pick for best song of 2020 is Pearl Jam Future Days, but not the Last of Us 2 version, the Pearl Jam version.
Wow. All right.
Thank you. I know it was a long walk.
It was a long
That was
walk.
cool though.
Thanks.
It reminds me of there's a TV show called Fear the Walking Dead, and last season, I think they found like a ukulele or a small guitar, and the one old guy kept playing a song that just escaped my head, but it was a Jeffrey Lynne song, and they would play it like their own way, and I was like, why does this song sound so familiar? And then it dawned on me that this was a very popular Jeffrey Lynne type song. And
You know what song? You don't remember what song though?
it's on my Spotify playlist, so I'll have to pull it up, but it'll pop in my head in a second. I can also look right now. It's just this, yeah, but I get the concept of it.
Yeah. I had no idea it was a real Pearl Jam song. I thought it was like something they just wrote for the video game that the guy was supposedly writing for his adopted daughter, but it's a real song and it's fantastic.
So Mike, let me tell you this. If you had continued to listen to Pearl Jam after their second album, you would have known that it's a great Pearl Jam song already.
I would have gotten it. I know. That's the twist ending.
Since you decided to abandon them after their second record. You had
This
no idea.
episode of You Gotta Hear This was directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
But that album, that's on an album called Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
Have you listened
I
to
just found out a few months ago. Are you familiar with this album?
Yeah, I'm familiar with most of their albums, and that one is really great, and I would recommend you listen to the entire thing.
When I was telling the story, did you know what the song was?
No, the lyrics sounded familiar, but I didn't know it well enough to place it. I was starting to look it up on my phone, and then you revealed.
It's so good. It's so good. One of my favorite songs of all time that just kind of snuck in under the radar. It's amazing. I love it. Yeah.
There's actually there's a Traveling Wilburys song, End of the Line.
Ah, yeah.
In Fear the Walking Dead. Pretty sure.
That's a great song.
It is a good song.
It's
All right.
Yeah, that's all right. That's good. I really like that too, when there's a song that like hits you for whatever reason, and then you can just like keep going back to it for a while, and like every time you listen to it, you're just like moved by it or, kind of taken to a place by it. I love when that happens. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's so fun. It's like when you see a movie and I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I could not see that movie and then go back and see it again for the first time. But I don't think music has that quality. I think music has the unique quality of getting better and better and better and better and better and better every time you hear it. Whereas a movie kind of has diminishing returns, for me at least.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say certain movies, like if you have a movie you watch every year, I think that gets better over time. For me, it's The Shining. I watch The Shining every year. I love that movie. I love how everything lines up. I love like the amount of detail put into that movie. So I watch that every year and it never gets old. But for bands, I've come close to over listening. Like I listen to a Lifetime record so much that I almost stopped listening to them entirely. So for me, I think there's a threshold. And as long as I make sure to kind of give it a break after a while, then it will age pretty well in time.
Why don't you go next? Why don't you say what your favorite song of 2020 is?
Okay. So my favorite song of 2020 is by a rapper that started in 1997. He just put out his 9th studio album. He's a creative force that's proven himself time and time again. He's got about 150 tracks with lyrics and 80 instrumentals. I couldn't really figure out how many songs he's been attached to, but he has the largest vocabulary in hip hop. There was a study by a data scientist, Matt Daniels, using lyrics from Rap Genius, and he examined 85 rappers and he examined the first 35,000 lyrics for unique words to give a level playing field to old and new artists, and he was number one. His style is considered complex and abstract. This song that he put out this year, I have a system where I'll listen to a song and every time my brain's like, ooh, wow. Oh, I call it an aw man. Like, oh man. This one had somewhere between 70 and 76 aw mans.
What?
In one song, you had 76 aw mans?
Yeah, which is, I've never really gotten past 70. And then when I did the worst song ever, how many times I was like, oh man. I don't think it's really ever past 70.
That's
I think
more aw mans than I've had in a lifetime.
I feel like it's somewhere, it always stops for good or bad around 60, 70 where it's peaked. But anyway, it's not a proven science, obviously. And to quote our friend Seamus about this song, when it first came out, I texted him about it and he just said, "So damn refreshing." This is by rapper Aesop Rock. It came out on a 7-inch January 30th of this year. The song's called Rogue Wave. He put it out on Rhymesayers Entertainment out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, a record label that's been around. It's an independent hip hop label. It's been around for 25 years. The record before this song came out was a video game soundtrack for this video game called Freedom Finger. I haven't played it, but he did the soundtrack for that. Yeah, it's called Freedom Finger.
What is the play mechanics of this game?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's probably an iPhone game or I don't know, but
was it sold exclusively in adult bookstores?
Yeah. Does it come with the hashtag Me Too?
Yes.
You can edit this out.
But anyway, the last full length he put out was called Malibu Ken, and it has a really ugly face on it. So it's not my favorite record by him. But anyway, this song's called Rogue Wave. In my opinion, the song's momentum's a 10 out of 10. He cut the chorus, he cut the hook out of the song. It's just bars the whole time. It's just verses like from front to back. The lyrics are very visually animated, which is one of my favorite parts of music, is when you can kind of see the song as you listen to it. Re-listenability, I mean, I listened to it probably 8 times today. Maxing out my aw mans for sure. I got to kind of take a break on it, but the bass in the song's a 10 out of 10. Snare I gave about an 8 out of 10. Lyric flow a 9. His vocal inflection on how he delivers every line is a 10 out of 10. Overall productions, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. And most importantly, how fun is it? I'd give it about a 15 out of 10 for me. He states the song is just a long journal entry. It kind of gives me the same feeling when I listen to someone soloing is like it's a ridiculous guitar solo. I feel like it's the same feeling I get in my brain just on the words he uses and the way the words flow into each other. He references, this is just this one song. He references Ancient Rome, Catcher in the Rye, Cats twice, like not the just Cats in general, because he has
Yeah.
Freddie
Not
Mercury,
Broadway play.
no, not or the movie that that no one's really a fan of. Freddie Mercury from Queen, The Godfather, Hunchback of Notre Dame, John Coltrane, Paul Bunyan, Picasso, Prince, Pirates, Pop-O-Matic Trouble, Robin Williams movie Peter Pan, Ghostbusters, The Shining, Star Wars, and Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. All these references are in one song.
I have
What about-
I have to know what is the Ryu and Ken reference.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
it's
it Hadouken?
one of the best lines from the song.
Yes,
He goes, hit the city limit, still exhibiting his inner Caulfield. Baby, I'm HE double hockey sticks on wheels. New dawn, show him how the voodoo feels. Plus launch fireballs from my palm heels. Hadouken.
That's really good.
Yeah, dude,
That's
the
really
lines
good.
in the song are ridiculous. The fact he cut the hook and the chorus out kind of says itself.
But
He
can I
talks
ask,
about,
can I ask a question?
yeah, sorry.
Any references to Mozart or Tybo
Well,
No, but he says top
or
notch.
soy lattes?
He does reference Bach. He says, we take it where the warlocks lock horn, soda pop, popcorn, top notch gore set to Bach over foghorns, which is some of my favorite wordplay of the song. He's got some really cool lines about space, saying well, actually, this is more of a reference to cartoons. But when a cartoon character hits their head and they have stars, he says, back away or catch a halo made of orbiting stars, which is, his lines are ridiculous.
really good.
Yeah. I got a cat's ear twitching every snap of a twig. Like, you could put these lyrics in another genre and it'd be your favorite lyrics of that. Yeah. What else do you got? Everything I touch turns to black sludge. Bugs in a bag lunch, punch through a Mack truck. He talks about throwing other artists' merch into urinals, which is fucking hilarious. This is the coolest line in the song besides the Street Fighter reference. He says, there's no amount of our fathers that could remedy the black dog breathing down his collar. It's just heavy,
Obviously referring to the film Black Dog starring Patrick Swayze.
obviously.
Yeah.
He talks about having Slimer on speed dial. I think Slimer is a nickname to
Why
one of
would you have
his friends.
Slimer on speed dial? That's
Love
the
that guy.
one to have on speed dial.
I think he has a friend that's his nickname is Slimer. So I took it as
I
a
was like, I would
Ghostbuster.
have the librarian from the cold open on
Mhm.
speed dial before I would have Slimer.
But
When
yeah,
you were a kid, did you ever try to throw Hadokens just to see if you could do it?
absolutely. And one of my favorite moments in all of video games is a Mega Man X for Super Nintendo. There's like a secret part of a level, Armored Armadillo's level, if you play that game, where you can get Ken and Ryu's Hadouken unlocked. So Mega Man actually does the Hadouken.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that existed in the game till about 15 years after the game came out. So I usually can find all the secrets if I'm really into a game, but that I didn't find till much, much later. But yeah, he has a new album called Spirit World Field Guide. And off of Rhymesayers Entertainment's website, they say the all-new Spirit World Field Guide offers you 21 insightful chapters of firsthand know-how into the terrain, wildlife, and social customs of our parallel universe. When you listen to this guy, it sounds like he's a rapper from another universe. It sounds like he's from another dimension, and in a cool way. I can't believe how many of his references match up to things I like. It's insane. So it's a very homemade recipe as far as any artist goes. He's one of my favorites. I'll be listening to him for the rest of my life. But yeah, Rogue Wave by Aesop Rock. Check it out.
Right.
I'll do that.
That was a great sell. Those lyrics were fantastic.
Yeah, the whole song, front to back.
Who was your Street Fighter character? Did you have a single guy that you would pick every time?
It was Blanca.
I was a big Muay Thai guy. You would go Blanca?
I would. Now I would definitely go. What was the Who's the girl with the blue pants, the white shirt?
Chun-Li.
Yeah, best one, easily.
All right.
I always went with the rubbery guy.
Yeah,
Also?
yeah, the yoga guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he could go across the screen and he could punch
Mhm.
you. No, that's awesome.
Yep.
John, were you a big Street Fighter 2 guy?
I was, yeah. I wasn't great at it, but my go-to was Blanca because you could crouch down and do the electricity thing.
Yep.
And if you did that enough, like at the right times, no one could really beat you. And then also, if you got close to someone, you could jump on them and chomp on their head. There was like 2 moves that you just had to know, and you could beat somebody who was better than you if you just use them properly.
Yeah.
Those
Neither
are
of
my
which
go-to.
neither of which translate to a real life fight, which I found out the hard way, but that's a story for another time.
Mhm.
I mean, the chomping on the head thing you could try in real life. I don't know how effective it would be. I guess it depends how vicious you want to get.
3 out of 10. It's about a 3 out of 10.
The electricity one just doesn't work. It just
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
all right, Greg. What do you got?
Man, I got to follow up all that.
I hope you have enough information to back up your choice.
Really don't. I don't. Typically, I'm a little bit more prepared, but I do want to thank Mike for taking time out of his rugby practice to.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Mike's haircut. I forgot.
No, yeah, we were talking off camera, and Greg said I look like a Scottish rugby player who came into a bar at 3 a.m. looking for a fight, which I have no rebuttal. I have no rebuttal for that. He nailed it. He
It's
nailed
true.
it. That's what
Very
I
true.
told the stylist. That's what I told the hairstylist. I showed her a picture of the Train Spotting cast, and I said, make me look like this."
I like it. I want to try something real quick.
Okay.
And she was like, "Sir, can you undo that rubber band from around your wrist first?" And I'm like, "Well."
Character.
Sorry, go ahead.
Alexa, play Every Rose Has Its Thorns.
It
Did it
didn't
work?
work.
Oh,
No. Do it again. Do it one more time. I like where your head's.
no.
Yeah, all right.
One and done. I picked a song that actually I tried to do a song that actually came out this year. And then this is a band called My Morning Jacket.
Yeah, love those guys.
I mean, I've actually put this song in the group text before we started doing this podcast. Because out of the whole album, which is The Waterfalls 2, which is much better than The Waterfall 1, this song is called Wasted. And lyrically, it's okay. It's pretty good. But instrumentally, is that the right thing? Instrumentally? It's the biggest oh man I got from a song. To steal that from Joe
Yes. No, steal it. Go for it. Great.
all year. Like the song, the guitar riffs are unbelievable. And right towards the end, you think it's the end, and then it just come back with this whole just jam, 2.5 minutes of just awesome guitars and drums and everything. It's a good song. I would envision it when concerts can happen again. If they play this at a concert, it'll be like the last song they play when everyone's on stage, just jamming, having a good time. And it's really good. You should listen to it if you
I
haven't.
just added it. I can't wait to listen to that.
Is that the one that's like the longest on the record? Is it like
Yeah.
7 minutes or something, or 8 minutes?
It's 6:07.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
But
Is that all it is?
the- that's what she said. The whole jam part of it's like every bit of like 3 or 4 minutes towards the end.
Right.
It's unbelievable. And for them, I'm not a huge My Morning Jacket fan, but that song just sold me on the whole album.
What's the name of the song?
Wasted.
All right.
It's easy for you to remember.
Because that's
Ah.
the constant state that I live in. I'll tell you what, I almost picked a song that you turned me on to for my song of the year was that Dawes song. But man, you got to be in a state to listen to it. If you're not, because I have
The
there's a
Dawes song when
song, a
uh,
little bit of everything.
oh my God, that song is
You got to be in a state to listen to that. And if it comes on my shuffle, sometimes I'll listen to it, sometimes I'll fast forward it. But man, that song brings me down, but it's such a good song.
And there's a couple of Bright Eyes songs that came out on the new album that were up there for me, but still the same thing. Like you got to be in a. I I mean, Bright Eyes in general, you have to be in a mindset to want to sit down and listen to.
Yeah.
But their new album, there's a handful of songs that were really, really good. There's one with bagpipes that is just
Yeah.
pretty good.
Dude, when did this this year has been just screwed with my sense of time so much. I thought that
How
album
come?
came out in 2019. When did it come out?
Waterfalls 2, I thought it came out in 2020.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. I'm just saying it feels like a long time ago because I remember listening to it right when it came out, and I can remember that pretty clearly, but that seems like so long ago. But I'm sure it was.
Came out, let's see, The Waterfall 2, released in July of 2020,
Oh my God.
but it was recorded in 2013 and 14.
Yeah.
So
But my memory of listening to that album seems like more than a year ago, which is crazy. It was just this past summer.
see, Sturgill's album, Sound and Fury, that came out in fall of 19, and I listened to that religiously. I mean, still do, but man, that Mike, you're on mute. We can't hear you. You're just diddling your finger around.
Sorry. I thought everybody on this podcast was gonna
Was
say
ignoring
Sturgill
it.
Simpson. Was gonna say Sturgill Simpson songs because I
Oh,
didn't know
man.
it was so close to 2020.
Yeah,
On
That
that record,
sounded- the Sound and Fury album is unbelievable.
he's just messing with you on Sound and Fury. Like
Mhm.
the songs is like similar to Rogue Wave. I mean, it just hits you out of nowhere. The song will go in a certain direction, and you just kind of can. You're almost about to predict where he's going with the song, and then he'll completely switch where it's going. And the whole, I don't know which song it was, but I remember we were all listening to it together, and just being like, this. The guitar wise, the album feels like he's surfing,
Right.
and he's just like freestyling, just cutting different ways, or snowboarding, I guess. And you just can't predict it, and that's unbelievable. I feel like he wrote that album. I know he makes a couple references to like being in a hotel room.
Mhm.
I think he just shut himself off. This is just from listening to it a few times. What I'm gathering from it, just I'm trying to kind of picture how he wrote it. I think he just like went in his hotel room after every show or wherever he was, complete darkness with recording equipment, and then just lived in that sound of that album and wrote it. That's how it comes across to me as someone who's written a lot of songs, is
Right.
complete isolation, complete darkness, and just wrote it over a long period of time.
And I loved it before. Like we
On
we
that.
listened to it
That's
at
crazy.
the Woods of Old last year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because it was Woods of Old or because Gerg's record player was playing it extra slow. But man, that 40 minutes of listening to that was
It was a lot. It was,
It
a
was
lot
intense.
to take in, man.
That's
It
one of those things. I was thinking about that earlier today, and I was thinking about that Sturgill Simpson album and how everybody is telling me how great it is, and I'm sort of getting annoyed about how everybody shut the fuck up about it. But then I took a step back and I'm like, no, it's a great fucking album. I
But
get
Mike,
it.
have you watched the Netflix anime movie that goes with it?
Yeah, I saw it at your house.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, we were, yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, when you could come over and like hang out for a while inside my house.
Absolutely.
I remember that. Remember those things.
Also, still this year. That was still this year.
No, it wasn't. It was 2019 it came out.
No, I mean when you guys were hanging, or when we did Woods of Old and hung out. I thought maybe.
Yeah, that was February.
Oh, that was 20.
That
I'm
was-
sorry, I thought you meant his album. No, his album came out
No.
the fall of 19, I think.
Yeah, I was just commenting on how that time of us hanging out, listening to that
Oh
album,
yes.
seems like a very, very long time ago. But it was
Yeah.
less than a year ago.
And I was a chill ass ball of light.
Yes, you were.
Backstory that we don't have to get into.
I actually think the last time I saw John was in my backyard because when you guys were here doing a little recording,
Yeah.
we
Oh,
had
yeah.
everyone over because the studio is like right over there. And
Yep.
then I had the fire and Mark O'Connell drank a lot of Two-Lane beer.
Uh-huh. You
And
had
then,
like a bunch of free ones, right?
Yeah. So we that was the last time I think I actually saw you.
Yeah, that was March, if I'm not mistaken. First week of March, maybe.
Hmm.
Remember that.
And, that was that. pretty much been no hanging out since.
Just dealing with a bunch of cookie protests.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song of the year, John?
Well, I'll tell you.
I mean, I don't want to weigh you down. I want to burden you with this.
It's no burden. I did have to think about it a bit because my relationship with new music this year has been a little odd. Like even again, thinking about that My Morning Jacket album, thinking about that Bright Eyes album, I sat down with them both and really loved them, but then pretty much like just I didn't listen to them again because something about this year is like puts me in that headspace of like I can check something out and enjoy it, but I kind of, if I'm going to listen to music, have tended to more go towards my comfort zone, like something that I've known for a long time that like I kind of want to go back to. But I was thinking about it, and one of the albums that really that I probably spent the most time with from new albums was the Fiona Apple record, and she has a song on that album called Shamika, and that's my pick for my favorite song of the year. And one, because it's a great song, I really love it, and two, because it has a great secondary story attached to it that I feel like is one of the great stories of any song for this year. So she wrote this song about her experience in elementary school being bullied, and this older girl, Shamika, like stood up for her and like gave her some confidence in herself, and she's writing about what that meant to her. And also I think even kind of talking about in the song how like she's probably never going to see this person again, like, and it wasn't even somebody that she knew, but this moment really meant a lot to her. So she writes this great song about this experience, and it turns out after the song has come out,
No.
Shamika, the real life Shamika, because I guess also turns out that that was really this girl's name, finds out about the song.
Wow.
It turns out she's a rapper. She's been involved in like hip hop in one way or another for the past like 25 plus years.
Who goes by the name of Moni Love? Is it Moni Love?
No, it's Shamika.
Oh, okay.
Shamika. And they end up, Fiona Apple and Shamika end up connecting because of this and working on a song together, a follow-up song, which is sort of like a little bit of a remix of this one, but also with a lot of new elements, and Shamika doing verses, and then Fiona Apple adding like a bunch of vocal stuff to it. And they end up collaborating and making a whole nother song after this together. And I really love that. I thought that was an amazing story.
That is a feel-good story.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
it's a good story, which you
That is
need
really
in this
cool.
day and age.
You do.
That's wild.
I like it. I'm gonna listen. We tried to listen to that Fiona Apple record based off your recommendation, and I didn't make it to like Plaza Midwood in my car before I had to shut it off, which is a very geographically specific joke. But it's
Yes.
I made it about 2 miles.
It's not
in
a
my
very
car.
long distance. It's not a long distance.
Only because it was like the female version of like a Chuck Mangione album. There was just so much happening, and I just couldn't get my head around it. It gave me anxiety.
I can see that.
A lot of noises, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Joe, have you ever gone back and made a record with the people that you bullied in high school?
No, I can't even. So I was definitely bullied a lot in middle school. I don't think I've even referenced anyone from that period. I would say the most I was bullied that I actually wrote about was probably from actually from my older brother. He definitely had of the most songs out of any angry songs I had, but no, I never collaborated with him. I did collaborate with my younger brother, who sings on a chorus of one of our more known songs, "Listen and Forgive," which is really cool. And you can't even pick his voice out because his voice sounds exactly like my voice. So it just sounds like a double of my vocal, but it's my little brother Kyle. But no, and he never bullied me either.
Mike, looking like a bully now, do you feel the need to go to elementary schools and
I do feel the need to collaborate with people on musical endeavors. I do feel that need.
I want to know who, if you guys can remember a time you were bullied and for what? Because I think that was,
I was a bully magnet. It was bad.
And-
Yeah.
Only because I was like so small and scrawny. My last name got butchered.
Yep.
My last name is Urquhart. People will call me Urquhart.
awful.
Yeah. People will call me Urkel.
Awful.
Yeah, listen. So my last name was Mike Manzetta. And so I used to go to this YMCA day camp over the summer. And so David Ham, which has a very questionable last name in and of himself, but he would call me Mike Monzeter with the millimeter Peter, which I thought was kind of funny. Which I thought was kind of funny. But me and David Ham, we were friends. So it wasn't like he was bullying me, but I thought that was a pretty good burn. So David Ham, man, what are you up to? If you're listening to this, friend
If
me
it
on
rhymes, you can't recover from it. Like he made a verse, basically a limerick for you,
Right.
just to make fun of you, like dead in the water. You have to come back.
Mike Monzeter with the millimeter Peter.
We had an art teacher in elementary school that we wrote I guess it was a limerick or a poem. His name was Mr. Dini, D-I-N-I. And it was Mr. Dini had a 10-foot weenie.
Knew it was me.
Showed it to the lady next door. She thought it was a snake. She cut it with a rake. Now it's only 5'4".
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
A lot to unpack there.
That's like a classic limerick.
Yeah.
It stuck with me all these years.
That's amazing. I will say, like in fourth grade, one more. In fourth grade, I had a huge crush. This isn't really bullying. I hope it's not. But in fourth grade, I had a huge crush on this girl named Laura. And I wrote a rap about her. Because when you're fourth grade, and so I wrote a rap about her. But it was about how ugly she was. But she was really cute. But I thought that this would be the way to, like, even as a little kid, I thought, you had to be kind of a jerk. So the line that I'm the most proud of is, you were standing in line, so I had to cut. Thought I was looking at your face, but it was really your butt. I thought it was really funny. And so, okay, wait. So then I've told this on, Greg knows this because I've told this on our podcast. But so then I got sent to the principal's office. It was written down on a sheet of paper, and the principal had it. And he goes, Mike, he's like, I hear you wrote a rap about Laura. Would you care to rap it for me? And I said, yeah. And so then when I got to the part where I was like, I was standing in line, so I had to cut, thought I was looking at your face, but it was really your butt. The principal goes,
He respected it. He liked it.
He did it because he realized if he got you to rap it in front of him, that it would be one of the funnest moments of his career. And it would be something that he could tell friends and family or whatever afterward.
Yeah.
He did it on purpose because he thought it was funny.
It was a good verse. I had bars. And this was, by the way, this was in Texas. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story about how they have paddles and they drill holes in them so the wind resistance is less. Like in Texas, that's real. This is real. So I was rapping for my life. I was trying to get out of a paddling and I didn't get one. He was like, so listen to what my punishment was. This was my punishment. Every morning for the next month, I had to hang the American flag up on the flagpole. Like that was my punishment. I was like, yeah, man, I love America. I'll do that for free. I was hoping you'd ask me to do that anyway.
Right.
Right.
Like you were being rewarded.
Yeah, it was almost, yeah. So Laura Stotts, if you're listening to this, I apologize for that rap. And I don't think your face looked like a butt. I thought you were very pretty.
Maybe you guys can collaborate on a song after this.
That'd be great.
Come full circle.
Oh man.
That would be nice.
You know what I got a lot was it was totally not I don't even know where it came from, but I got this rhyme that none of the people that said it had made it up, but it would go around for anybody named John. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard John Leprechaun went to school with nothing on. Teacher, teacher, that's not fair. Give me back my underwear.
Oh, I don't like that.
No,
I got
I've
that
never
one.
heard that
A lot to
before.
unpack
I've
there.
never heard that before. I don't like the idea of the teacher having your underwear.
Sounds like
Doesn't
sounds
really
like
make
the
sense.
premise of a SVU episode. I don't like it.
No, I've never heard that before.
You never heard? Did you ever hear as a man named Michael? Did you ever hear Michael motorcycle turn the key and
Key
watch
and
and
watch
pee?
and pee.
No. What are you guys talking about? How does Joe know this?
These are
I
classic.
made it all the way up to Saugus,
No, I've
Massachusetts,
never-
apparently.
Mhm.
It might have been Northeast rhymes. I don't
No,
know.
I don't know. Anyway, all right, guys. I think this is a good point to before I get off on another black tar heroin tangent. This is a good time to shut it off.
I
This is
wish
why
you
you have
all
so much
a good-
editing to do now. You have so much
Yeah.
editing to do now. 'cause of
Ah,
Mike.
leave it in.
Yeah, not
They
that
know
much.
I'm kidding. They know I'm kidding. This
A
is
couple
my
of slices here and there will be.
yeah.
I wish you all and your families a very happy new year.
Yes.
And all our listener, whoever it is,
Listener.
Alan, Seamus, and Brendan. We know they're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy
and also
New Year.
if you've made it to this point in the podcast, let us know your favorite song of 2020. We'd be glad to hear it. Leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we can maybe do a playlist too. Maybe we could add a couple more that we didn't talk about today and make an end of the
sure.
year playlist.
Oh, like ones that
About
almost
that.
made it. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Send
Yeah,
like 3 or
yeah.
4 each. Yeah, I'm into that.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
All right. All right, guys. Good
Cool.
talk.
See you.
Good to
See you next year.
Classic.